Today's segment of Oh Brother is sponsored by Daviston Insulation. Visit them on the web at davistoninsulation.com to find out how you can reduce your energy bills by up to 30% and receive a tax credit in the process.
All my brothers are so southern, they'll get up for you for nothing. Take this brother I've known for men.
Welcome into Oh Brother. I'm Will Lochamy, along with Reed Lochamy. This is the podcast that we bring to you from the Brandon Brown and the Country Western Delight Studios. Reed, you can find the podcast at iTunes or on our website, obrotherradio.com.
That's true, yeah, absolutely. And don't forget the new YouTube channel. Will you put a lot of work into that?
That's true. I wouldn't say it's a lot of work.
Well, you
but
put
it's a lot of fun work.
Yeah, it's at youtube.com/obrotherradio. Will, it is Thursday, and that is time, of course, for Three's a Crowd. And today we've got a good one. Will, who is going to be joining us today?
Well, Reed, if you have ever been to a football fan's house, maybe especially an Alabama football fan, but it doesn't have to be.
No.
You probably have seen this man's work. We want to welcome in Daniel A. Moore, the fantastic artist. Daniel, thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys. Glad to be with you.
Now, you up to anything this week? You maybe working on something new?
Oh, slightly. Got a little project coming up. A little project of a big play, the Cody block of the last second field goal attempt by Tennessee. It's too big not to comment on artistically and to document historically.
He is too big, indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
way too big.
Now, did you know immediately? I mean, as soon as that play happened, did you know, oh, here we go?
No, guys, sometimes either my kids or some of my collectors probably say it first, like, well, there's a Daniel Moore moment, or, hey, Dad, that's a painting. I remember watching The Catch, Prothro's Catch back in '05, stunning catch there, and I was just so taken that we were watching it together, my kids and I, in the TV room downstairs, and, it's just like I was so bowled over by the catch. I wasn't thinking painting or anything. I was just out of my mind thinking, how did he catch that? And Julie or April jumps up and says, hey, Dad, that's your next painting. I said, well, by golly, it is, isn't it? So I think some people were thinking that before I was recovered enough. I was at the game, and I was just in shock on this block kick, too, and I think some people were already thinking it before I was.
I know it's the first thing that came into my mind when I saw the play. Now, we're all familiar with your work. Everybody's seen your paintings, but I'm kind of curious to know how this process happened. So once you've decided, hey, this is something I'm going to, do a painting of, what happens next? How does that process sort of get rolling?
Well, that's a good question, because that's exactly the process that I'm in now. I am reviewing the play via photo, video, all sorts of angles and considerations to approach it on, basically from a perspective standpoint. Once I have that in mind and see supporting evidence that may give me references to work from, then I will sort of narrow down my search in terms of how to portray it and start looking for things that will help in rebuilding the play, so to speak. So a lot of that's through photographic reference, and I'll start just looking at the different photographs and saying, okay, like for this one, I'm basically composing a, no pun intended, but a giant A-frame composition, and it goes up with, peaking at Julio. But then you've got Cody coming in over on, their right side, the left of the viewer's side, and the block happening right there. But the whole composition is built upon a triangular format. Mm-hmm. Now, that is a very stable composition. It's much like the goal line stand, although much less elevated as you would in terms of Barry Krause and Mike Gooman being the sort of the pinnacle of that mountain that I built there, that pyramid. And here you really have Julio going up so high. I do not know how he jumped so high, but he did. I think he may have gotten the kick had Cody missed it. But after that happens, I do a compositional sketch and start putting things exactly where I want them. And should be by possibly by Friday, which would be tomorrow as people are listening to the broadcast. I should have a compositional sketch up on my website at newlifeart.com, and it'll show the pencil drawing. And then once I have the pencil drawing, then I convert that to canvas and then start painting. So I really feel like I'm like 90% of the way there once I have in mind what I want to do and get it laid out exactly like I want to do. It's much like building a house. You have to have a good blueprint, because without the good blueprint, the good foundation, it really doesn't matter what you build. I mean, it's still going to look, crummy and functional crummy if it's not well designed.
So from the original pencil drawing that you put up on the website until the original is done and completely painted, how long is that usually?
Well, that also varies by the degree of difficulty or the degree of complexity of the composition. I just finished one in, probably 2 months, I guess 2 months of painting of the Texas Tech game from last year where Graham Harrell threw that last second, almost second touchdown pass to Crabtree. And that one really only had about 4 major figures and one of Coach Leach standing on the sideline. This one is going to be a little more complex. The figures are going to be a little bit smaller in comparison to the size of the canvas that I'm using. But I'm going to guess a couple of months on this one, too, same size painting. And believe it or not, the painting of the sack, I don't know if you're familiar with that one or not, or some of the listeners might be. It's displayed in the Bryant Museum in Tuscaloosa. It's a 5-foot by 7-foot canvas, but yet there's really only 2 major figures and 1 minor figure, like a pulling guard that's sort of blurred out anyway, and then blurred out background. But as large as that was, it took far less time to do than, say, some of the smaller paintings that are more complex. I spent as long as 1,500 hours on a painting, which was the national championship in 1992 for Alabama, called Tradition Continues.
The level of realism in your paintings is really astounding. My question, though, is do you ever, just like in every Seinfeld episode, there's always a Superman somewhere. Is there any sort of signature thing that you add, like somewhere in the background of your paintings that people wouldn't be aware of that would be outside of that sort of level of realism people normally expect from your paintings?
Well, I can't say across the board in everything, but there's a lot of symbolism that I will put into a painting, and whereas maybe some people won't catch it, others will. I guess it really started back in 1981 when I did the painting of Coach Bryant's 315th win. I was looking for a way to imply that was his 315th win and to convey that message in the painting. So I resorted to putting a score by including players visible in the painting. It was like number 30 standing next to number 15, except number 15 was blocking the 0 and the 30 number, and then you had 315. So you had the coach in 315.
Nice.
So I do that in some cases, and there's others that I've really taken symbolism to the nth degree.